Every day, somewhere behind the scenes, unseen by most, a quiet force twists the threads of global markets in ways that shape economies, fortunes, and futures. It's not the flashy hedge funds, not the headlines grabbing tech giants, but a smaller, hidden group, family offices. These entities manage the wealth of the ultra-wealthy, but their impact goes far beyond numbers on spreadsheets. For founders hungry to build legacies, investors desperate to unlock the next wave of opportunity, and leaders battling a sea of noise, understanding the secret influence of family offices isn't just smart, it's a matter of survival. Right now, many out there feel trapped in an endless game of chasing trends dictated by others with more access, more power, more invisible levers. You grind, you hustle, you innovate, but the system keeps shifting beneath your feet. Traditional market signals become unreliable. The rules you were taught suddenly feel like chains, not guidelines. Family offices, they've learned something different. They're playing a silent, long game, moving billions quietly, weaving a complex web of influence that most miss entirely. You're not blind to the cracks, the broken promises of freedom when you still answer to the game's masters, but breaking free feels impossible. Until now. Here's the truth few admit. Family offices don't just sit on wealth, they set directions. They fund the frontier ideas before they're cool. They invest in infrastructure without the spotlight, rewriting the rules by backing projects that can't be measured by quarterly profit alone. When giants stumble or stall, family offices spring in with patient capital, relentless focus, and ruthlessly strategic vision. They are the hidden architects of market disruption, the quiet revolutionaries carving pathways no one else sees. If you want to lead, to invest, to build something that lasts, you have to see what they see. The unseen forces, the long arcs, the connections that supercharge power. Feeling frustrated by the market's chaos? That constant pressure to perform, to leap on surface-level trends? Family offices reject this noise. They know real power isn't about chasing headlines. It's about patience and alignment. It's about surrounding themselves not with followers or yes men, but with a few rare people who burn as fiercely as they do. Partners who question everything, who reshape reality instead of succumbing to it. For those stuck repeating tired patterns, this is a wake-up call. The secret to transcending mediocrity lies in transforming how and with whom you connect. The pain is real. The system promises freedom but sells control. It hands you a compass, but the needle spins wildly. Family offices have cracked a different code. They don't follow the compass, they build their own. They craft alliances that blend contrast into strength, diversity into synergy. They create infrastructure not meant to scale noise, but to amplify essence. Real ideas, real potential. It's a radical approach and a profound invitation. Because here's the kicker. If you can tap into those networks, if you can align with those few who see the world as a place to remake rather than accept, you don't just catch up, you leap forward. You don't have to play by their rules, but you do need to understand their game. Family offices operate with sovereignty of will. They question relentlessly. They transform constantly, and they choose their battles carefully. They practice freedom not as a slogan, but as a discipline. And this is where founders and investors stumble. Too often, they wait for permission. They wait for the system to hand them a spot at the table instead of building a new table altogether with those who refuse to settle. Family offices offer a blueprint, not for convenience, but for owning your path, for claiming power over your future. Imagine a network where misunderstood brilliance is no longer isolated, but aligned. Where individual fire is met with complementary sparks, creating an unstoppable blaze, where the rare find each other not by chance, but by design. Family offices are weaving this new kind of network, quietly creating the infrastructure that the old world forgot to build. It's an infrastructure for the exceptional, the transformed, the unrestricted. For those who refuse to live a borrowed life, who hunger to liberate themselves from the facade of freedom imposed by borders, labels, and blind consensus. If there's a silence inside you, a burning tension that whispers, "This isn't all there is," you're already sensing the pulse of this movement. It's the pulse of aligned power, radical partnership, and patient rebellion. Family offices don't just preserve wealth, they incubate transformation. They don't just invest, they ignite. If there's been frustration, it's because the game has been rigged in ways that favor the invisible few who know this secret. But that secrecy is failing. The walls are thinning. The edges, those few who dare to question everything, are gathering. You face a choice. Continue playing by the outdated rules, chasing fleeting gains in a system designed to reward mediocrity and conformity, or step into the space where noise fades and true becoming begins, a space where your will becomes your weapon, where skepticism cuts through illusion, and where you align with the rare few blazing a trail toward the future they decide. No shortcuts, no guarantees, just ruthless freedom and the power to redefine reality. This is not about fitting in. It's about standing out with fierce intent. It's about joining the quiet revolution of family offices, shaping markets not with flash, but with focus and faith in what's possible over decades. It's about understanding that in a world obsessed with size and speed, the patient, sovereign individual reigns supreme. Those who embrace this now will not just survive, they will remake the rules of success entirely. For every founder overwhelmed by the chaos, every investor fatigued by empty promises, every leader stuck in the noise, listen carefully, align with the few who burn as you do, question relentlessly, move with patience, build connections not because you want to belong, but because you want to become. Family offices aren't just wealth managers, they are navigators of the next era, the silent architects of a new market reality where power is decentralized, patience rules, and individual sovereignty is the ultimate currency. You've known something was off. The world doesn't work like it's promised. Family offices silently prove what's possible when you refuse to bend, when you build a network that values brilliance over conformity. This is your opportunity to stop playing the waiting game. Connect with those fires, become part of a network that transcends borders, labels, and the old systems that hold others hostage. The world needs those ready to burn rather than bend, ready to question, to transform, and to align with the rare few who are quietly shaping the future. Family offices are more than a force of capital. They're a force of change. If you want in, it's time to stop hoping and start moving. The door to this hidden world is open. Step through and become the rare signal in a sea of static. Because legacy, power, and true freedom don't come from the many. They come from the few, and those who dare to become more.